Welcome to today's Software AG webcast titled Integrating Legacy Systems with SaaS Applications. Today's program will be presented by Bob Jeffcott, Principal Systems Engineer at Software AG. As we move through today's program, we invite you to submit any questions that you may have via the question box, which is located under the video screen you're now viewing. In the event that we're not able to answer your question, your submission will be noted, and we will be back in touch with you as soon as possible. Today's program is being recorded. This recording will be made available to you in an email that will be sent to you within 24 hours of this program. With that, it is now my pleasure to welcome again Bob Jeffcott.
Thanks, Will. Today, we're going to be looking at integrating legacy systems with SaaS applications. You may ask why that's an important topic today. It seems like SaaS applications, the cloud is appearing everywhere. Organizations are turning to that software as a service for everything, whether it be for customer relation systems, whether it be for order entry systems, financial systems. We're seeing that everywhere. That being said, how do legacy applications fit into this picture? Well, your core legacy applications are your differentiators. They are that tailored business logic. It's what makes your organization makes you unique. Typically, those legacy applications have years, if not decades, of data about your constituents, about your customers. And that data is very high value data. One of our commercial customers has actually put their data as an asset on their financial books, that they value it so highly. And lastly, those legacy applications are critical to your organization. They go down, you go down. So let's see how we hook those together. Today, we're going to be demonstrating using our Web Methods integration platform. Our Web Methods platform uses adapters to connect anything together and to publish those out as usable services. Whether it be cloud providers, whether it be COTS applications, your legacy custom-built applications, or interface to emerging technologies, whether it be IoT, mobile applications, social networks, government and industry partners, external departments and agencies, or other emerging technologies such as microservices. So with that, the way that our Web Methods platform integrates is through our adapters. We have a comprehensive set of connectivity of over 300 adapters that make it quick and easy to connect to any technology. Again, whether it be SaaS, big data, database adapters, application adapters, mainframe connectivity, more simply technology adapters. We can configure these adapters to connect to that technology and orchestrate it. Today, we're going to be looking and utilizing two of those specific adapters. The first one is our Web Methods CloudStream adapter. It enables pre-built adapters to connect to almost any SaaS application that's out there. From an integration perspective, it gives you wizard-driven service creation. So I don't have to understand a lot about the SaaS application that I'm connecting to. A wizard guides you through those connections, both from the connection standpoint and from the service creation standpoint. Typically, legacy applications have a very different security footprint than these SaaS applications. So this CloudStreams enables you to link those two security mechanisms together and to ensure that your data is protected from end to end. And as you start to see in the, when you start to utilize these cloud-based applications, oftentimes you have to worry about SLAs. How is my connection doing? You have to do monitoring. Most of these applications are consumption-based pricing. So you have to make sure that you are staying within your limits of consumption, that no particular runaway service or rogue application is consuming too much of a service. And you also have to be concerned with auditing. Who accessed these? When did they access them? Want to make sure that there's no unauthorized access. So we give you those capabilities when we talk about the consumption governance. And last, CloudStreams enables you to have traffic analytics, usage performance, error monitoring, SLAs, and dashboards to just see how I'm doing with my various connections, who's utilizing what, and performance. So we'll take a closer look at the CloudStreams adapter to see, but that's what we're going to be utilizing today in the demonstration to connect to our cloud application. On the legacy application side, those core applications that we just talked about that are important, that are critical to your organization, you have to be able to integrate. In our Web Methods legacy integration platform, our mainframe application platform, allows you to connect at multiple different levels. We can connect at that data level. So if you need to just access the data or you update the data, we can do that. Sometimes, though, the data actually has business logic that has transformed it, and those are accessed via screens, typically what we call the green screens. So sometimes you have to be able to go through those screens and access it almost as a user would, and sometimes those encompass multiple different screens that I have to go through a variety of different functions to gather the information I want. And we can connect at that level as well. And then, of course, back when we talked about the differentiator of your legacy applications, what makes them special, we're really talking about the programming, that business logic that's executed. So we want to be able to execute that, whether it's COBOL, Assembler, PL1, even Java and .NET applications are considered legacy at this point in time. And that's actually the one that we're going to be utilizing today. We're going to be looking at our Web Methods Entire adapter. And that allows us connectivity into our mainframe. So for today's demonstration, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be connecting legacy and low-code SaaS application together. We're going to be utilizing Salesforce for our cloud application. We're going to be utilizing a mainframe application for our legacy app. What we're going to do today is we're going to enter an opportunity in Salesforce. By saving that opportunity in Salesforce, we are automatically going to create an order in the mainframe application. We're doing this utilizing both our Salesforce adapter and our mainframe adapter. Once that order has been entered in the mainframe, we're going to take on a different persona. We're going to take on that mainframe end user. We're going to update that order on the mainframe. And what it's going to do is it's automatically then going to update the Salesforce opportunity with the appropriate information. So that's the round trip of what we are going to show you today. And with that, let's switch over to our applications. And first, let's take a look at our mainframe application. This is our order entry system to maintain orders. I'm going to do a next just to show you that the next order ID, the very first order ID you'll see will be iOrder. It has some customer information. It has a request date, a status. Salesforce ID, we're using that to link the two orders together, an amount, ship date, and some item information. But again, the very first one you're seeing here is the iOrder. So we're going to create one with a lower number than that. And let's go from here to our Salesforce application. So I am using a developer version of Salesforce. I am using their Lightning version. And so what I'm going to do is I'm looking here at my recently viewed opportunities. So I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new opportunity. With this, I'm going to enter the appropriate information. So I'm going to call it Bob's Demo Opportunity. None of those is required. I'm going to put in an amount, and because it's I'm being optimistic, I'm going to say that this opportunity is worth $1,000. And I'm going to pick a close date for the end of the month. So I have done that, and now my stage. So for those of you not familiar with Salesforce, it is a customer relations management system. It allows us to track not only customers, but opportunities. In this particular case, we're using an opportunity. It uses the staging as what stage is this opportunity in? And I'm going to pick it as just prospecting. I'm just starting out. What that automatically does is it automatically sets a probability of 10%. I can pick out some other information, but I'm not really going to care about that right now. With the additional information that we are entering, I'm going to go ahead and put in an order number. And this order number is then going to be passed over to the mainframe application. So let's start with something like A. Simple A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put a couple more things in here. I'm going to put a tracking number. Now, when you have two different systems, they don't always have the same information. They don't necessarily map in a one-to-one relationship. So one of the things we want to show you is that information in one system can be used in a completely different area in the other system. So we're going to put in as a tracking number, we're going to put in a customer number that would be on the mainframe side. With that, I'm going to go ahead and do a save. And it says opportunity, Bob's demo opportunity was created. Now let's go back over to our mainframe application, our green screen application. I'm going to do a next here. And now you see that order number that I entered in Salesforce is now available in my order entry system. What I put in as a tracking number is now the customer ID. It gives us today's date for the date that this was entered, and then a requested ship date of 9/30, the end of the month. That was translated from my targeted close date. I have a status of prospecting. So again, that matched to that 10% prospecting that I had. We passed over the internal Salesforce ID. Typically, you wouldn't see this, but it would be stored in the application itself. But there is no amount because this is an order system, not an opportunity system. And there's no ship date yet. And my notes are blank. So let's go ahead and make a change to this order. So I'm going to do a modify. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to leave the amount blank because the system calculates it. I'm going to say, you know what? We're going to ship this out today. I'm going to put in the notes. Say, order was shipped today. I am going to put a product ID. And again, this is kind of a older legacy application, so I don't have a lot of drop downs or help. So I'm going to be able to put in almost anything I want here, 3, 4, and a product ID of 5, 6, 7, 8. I am going to send a widget and a deluxe widget. Now the price of a widget is $5. The price of a deluxe widget is 10. I want 5 of these, and I want 20 of these. Going to hit enter. You're going to see that it updated the amount to $225. Order was shipped, said the record was modified successfully. Okay, now just for presentation purposes, I could have executed this in the code itself. I'm going to come down here and say, well, now that I'm happy with this, I'm going to hit the PF4 key, and I am going to send that to Salesforce. So with that, It tells me that the update was sent to Salesforce. So now let's go back over to that Salesforce entry. So the entry we have, and I'm going to have to check here and see if I have to refresh. Salesforce did make a change to their system. No, okay. So let's take a look at that same record that we just entered. Remember we put an amount of $1,000? Well, the actual amount is now populated back into the Salesforce system of $225. The close date has been reflected to be 9/24, the date of the ship date. Yes, we successfully sent this off. If you look back here, all the stage history, those dates had been changed. The other thing you see that the stage and the probability of change from that 10% and prospecting to closed won and 100%. Not only that, but we had never had a delivery status before that was blank. It is now delivery status of shipped. And you come here and you see in the description that information that I entered on my order entry system has now been reflected to be updated in this opportunity. So we did that round trip pretty quickly, pretty easily. With that, let's take a look at the underlying architecture of how we did that and what components we used. So let's go back to the presentation. We are going to take a quick look. So this were our two targeted applications that we wanted to integrate in real time. So, and we used our web methods integration platform to do that. On the mainframe side, we used our NtireX mainframe adapter. We configured a connection between integration platform and the mainframe, specifying the location of the mainframe, the IP address, the appropriate security credentials, as well as some additional configuration parameters. On the web methods integration platform on the CloudStream side, we used our CloudStreams adapter where we specified our Salesforce location. We specified our Salesforce credentials, as well as additional security measures of a token that were put in. And again, some additional parameters that allowed us to configure that connection. With that, when we made the entry into Salesforce, we set up a Salesforce event listener. So Salesforce, when it makes a change, says, would you like to listen on these changes and be notified of any changes? We said yes, and we wanted to set that up. When we took that information and we passed it through our NtireX adapter into an RPC listener on the mainframe. And what we did during that is we translated the information from the Salesforce format that it was given, that JSON string that gets passed, and the XML string that was passed. We mapped that into our mainframe code format that it would understand, and we called the appropriate mainframe program to do the update. On the mainframe side, once in that order entry system, we made the update to the order, and we sent the PF4 key to send it off to Salesforce. That code actually contained a link to NtireX, which said, here is the location of our web methods integration platform, and here are the appropriate security credentials. Notice we always talk about security. This round trip was completely secured. Access to both systems were secured, and as we mentioned earlier, completely auditable. So with that, the information was passed from the mainframe back through the CloudStreams adapter to a Salesforce adapter connection that we created and configured, and passed that back over to Salesforce to update that record. Very quickly, I want to take a look under the covers at the actual adapter configurations and the mapping between the two systems. So I am going to go switch to the software AG designer that is utilized for our web methods integration platform. And with that, I first want to go over to our administration page to show you the adapters that we have. So there's a couple different ones that we utilized. We used the CloudStreams adapter. Sorry, timed out. And with this, you see that for the providers that we define, we have a host of them. For those SaaS applications, we use Salesforce. Salesforce has a variety of interfaces that we access. They have bulk loader and that they have a CRM SOAP interface. And they have different versions of them. So it gives you the flexibility of having multiple different connections if a particular version is appropriate for your connectivity. With that, we want to look at the actual Salesforce connection. We had a couple of them where we set up. This one that was active is to our Salesforce CRM. I specify the server location. Salesforce typically gives you your own URL. I specify my credentials. I specify some additional properties for pooling, for timeout management. And on the mainframe side, we do something very, very similar. For all of our different adapters, we have an entire X adapter for the mainframe. And again, with that, we specify the location, the IP address of the mainframe. We specify the service that we want to invoke. We specify our credentials, and again, the properties for pooling, for timeouts, etc. With that, we go back to our Software AG Designer, the IDE, Clips-based for the developer, and just want to walk you through going from Salesforce to the mainframe. The first thing we do is we specify that listener. Remember, we talked about the listener. So for this, we have created, again, wizard-driven through a listener opportunity or listener of opportunities. We say that we want to subscribe to the data for change events. And the parameters for the change event, again, this is something that is wizard guided, but we are saying which of the change events do you want to listen to? And we're saying opportunities. So there's a whole host of different objects in the Salesforce application, both defaulted and customized, that you can create. And we can listen for any of those. But what we say is when an event happens, what do you want to do? Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to log that connection. I want to log that communication so I can monitor, so I have an audited trail of what happened. But then what do I want to do with that data? I specify a service invocation, and that service invocation is a log opportunity. So I want to take that opportunity and I want to pass that opportunity to the mainframe. So let's come down here and look at our log opportunity service. It's a flow service, our internal language. And what we do is we actually invoke a service called create order, which allows the interface to the mainframe. So we define the inputs to the mainframe. And let's come back to the log opportunity. And actually, let's look at the mapping of that particular one. So what we do is we get the data that is sent from Salesforce. So every time an opportunity is entered, all of this information is passed from Salesforce. And what we want to do is we want to map it to that service that we looked at for the mainframe. So we take like close date, and that goes to close date. Amount is sent over. Account ID goes to customer ID. So when we entered that, order number comes into order number. So it does that translation between the XML and the various fields in Salesforce to what I want to call on my mainframe. And it translates that into the appropriate format on the mainframe. So that's how we would set up that trip from Salesforce to the mainframe and how we do that mapping. With that, I think I am going to turn it back over to Will here in just a second. If you guys want more information, have more questions, want a custom demo, have suggestions for future webcasts, you can either email us at info@softwareaggov.com or visit us at softwareaggov.com and click on the Contact Us link. With that, Will, I'm going to turn it back over to you for questions.
Thank you, sir. First one I have for you. You showed online, but can this be done in batch processes?
Absolutely. We do have a customer that is doing that today while the information from Salesforce is being passed back to their mainframe application via that interface that we showed you. Because they have a pretty extensive batch processing and higher volumes on the mainframe, what they're choosing to do is replicate that data through our data connectivity and pass that back to Salesforce in more of that bulk loader capability.
The next question I have for you, is there a way to do this integration at the data level rather than the program level?
Sure. Again, very similar that we had the ability to do that near real-time or real-time replication of data off of the mainframe side. Now, on the Salesforce side, they only allow us the APIs. So you do it while it is truly at the data level automatically, I guess you could say, from that CloudStream side, but that varies from cloud provider to cloud provider.
Last one for you. What other legacy platforms does this work with?
Again, with a wide variety of adapters that we have, it can connect to almost any legacy applications. And again, legacy applications kind of mean different things to different people, right? Sometimes COTS applications, the SAPs, the PeopleSofts of the world are considered legacy applications now. We have adapters for those. You have custom .NET, custom Java applications, and we have adapters for those as well. So almost anything that you might consider legacy, whether it be different platforms, whether it be VSE, ZOS, AS400, Windows, Linux, we connect to that. Whether any particular language or any particular data source, we can connect to, and a host of different COTS applications as well.
I'm going to throw one more at you, and it is as follows. The update in SFDC was automatically pushed to mainframe. However, the update in mainframe required press of function key to push that data. Is this a technical limitation or a design decision?
That was a design decision. As we said, it was just so I could show you that I was actively pressing a PF4 key and you would get a message. So absolutely, that could have been done just as the commit to the database was done. You could have been passed automatically. And that typically is what you would do. You wouldn't need to necessarily make an application, but that is absolutely a design decision, not a technical choice.
Very good. We certainly want to say a thanks to everybody that's taken time from their day to join us. We want you to stay abreast of all of our future digital programming. You can do that by visiting the events section under the About Software AG tab at softwareag.com. Bob, thank you very much for a very interesting presentation. With that, our program has now ended. Enjoy the rest of your day.